all selectmen present. Consent agenda warrant number 8, 9, 10, 24, payroll register number 37, 9, 12, 24, and number 38, 9, 19, 24. We've got a motion and a second. I'm going to check that as that. To approve the warrants and payroll registers as read. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Number 3, a request for poll permit, town poll permit.
This is for Longley Road, and it is, I can pass it around to you so you can see the map of where it needs to be. It looks like Longley Road and Russell Road.
So just one poll.
Yes.
Take out 3 and put in 1?
No, they're gonna,
They're going to add 1. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, looking for a motion to approve the poll permit. I believe it's with Central Maine Power.
Make a motion to approve the poll permit for CMP.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the poll permit on the Longley Road for CMP. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. All right, acceptance of meeting minutes of select board meeting on September 9th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for August, no, September 9th, 2024.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for the select board meeting on September 9th, 2024. Any questions on that? All those in favor? 4 in favor, and Mr. Moody will abstain. All right, at this time, I'd like to open a public hearing for the proposed ordinance, Chapter 180, Article 1, opt-out for adult use, and Article 2, opt-in for medical retail sales. Public hearing is now open. Town manager, any comments?
there is a little bit of change to Article 1 on the adult use cannabis, but it's mainly has to do with technical references to the legislation and things like that, to clean up that language.
All right, any questions, any comments from anybody? Any comments?
It is still the idea that the town is not opting in for adult use.
Okay. All right, any other comments? Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed, and I'll look for a motion to, bounce too much. I'll look for a motion to send the Article 1 and Article 2.
Well, we didn't talk about Article 2, did we?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're on the close. So Article? All right, Article 2.
Okay. So Article 2 is substantially new. There is a lot in there that is not previously in our ordinances, and it talks about the purpose of having this particular article to make sure that the select board has the authority to enforce it. It gives definitions on what things are. It also establishes that people that want to have stores are going to be required to have a license. Inspections by code enforcement. Thank you. There's also site requirements so that the planning board will determine the locations that would be acceptable to have medical cannabis use stores. There's also a limit that they're proposing to issue no more than 3 annual medical licenses. But that does not take away from the 5 that already exist. So what would happen is, if one of them moves or closes, then that license would not be eligible to be given out to somebody else. That would drop the number from 5 to 4, and then again, it would happen until we get to 3. And once we get to 3, then it would be on the basis of who is currently licensed and looking for relicensure. Non-conforming grandfathered uses, there's only one shop in Madison that's really non-conforming, and it's the one that is across from Irving, because it's within a safe zone where the basketball courts and stuff is. So should that provider ever decide to move, he can move his shop to a different location that would be outside of the safe zone, but he would not be able to, if something happened to that shop and they had to rebuild, he would not be able to get a license there again.
These are all accepted by the
These were
planning
all,
board?
yes, they were all accepted by the planning board, and the planning board had a public hearing and had very little comment, I think.
All right. Okay, any other comments on Article 2?
Yeah, under the first page, under purpose, the purpose of this article is also to prevent the locations such establishments in close proximity to schools. That's pretty vague.
It's actually referring to the specific safe zones that the ordinance, there's a safety ordinance that's been pre-established.
So
it's
there is
got
so
like
many
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But pretty much everybody that's already there, it's not interfering with their business as it is for right now, but if somebody closes shop, then nobody will.
Then the changes would take effect.
Okay.
All right, any other comments? Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and we'll look for a motion to send Article 1 and Article 2 to town meeting.
I'll make a motion to send
I
Article
gotta make it a little more complicated than that. Okay, so on the special town meeting warrant, we sent Article 1 to choose a moderator, Article 2 to Chapter 170. We've done that, we did that last time. So what I'm looking for is a motion to send Article 3, which is Article 1, Adult Cannabis Establishment, Chapter 180, Drugs and Drug Paraphernalia to be enacted. And Article 4, which is Article 2, Medical Use Cannabis Establishment, okay? So I had the establishments, all right? So just to make that clear.
I'll make a motion to send Article 1 cannabis as Article
3,
3 on the town
meeting
warrant.
warrant, yep.
And then Article 2 for medical use cannabis establishments to go on to the town warrant as Article
4. And the select board will recommend yes on both of those.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to do what Zesty said. To recommend yes. Any other further questions on that? All right, seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries, and that will be our town meeting warrant, 1 to 4.
All right, and so,
You'll get that typed up and we can come in and sign it?
yes, and these are the drafts that Cheyenne needs for you guys to sign on those. So-
All right, moving on.
So the town warrant, we'll write that up and they'll come in and sign it.
Okay. When you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, letter F, old business, office space hours for recreation director within the town office. Have we done anything with that?
Yes, we have. So I've met with Danny Morshed, and he has said that he will plan on using the town office on Mondays from 8 to noon and expand that if he finds that it's necessary. And right now, he's satisfied that people have access to him and they have his phone number. So I can pursue it further if you want, but
Okay.
he's comfortable with that.
And he still has his place in the high school and
In the high school and
junior high.
the
And
middle
middle
school.
school.
Yes.
All right, are we good? Okay, our other old business notice public notices on recreation committee, we're gonna get them to post those
Yes,
before they have their meetings, so people can go to those.
yes.
We're gonna also get them up on the sign if we could.
Yep.
Okay. All right, number 3, election worker safety for upcoming November election. Diane?
So what I've done so far in preparation is I've reached out to Dale Lancaster and requested enhanced police presence near the polling place on election day. He has even offered to do escort while I'm transporting the ballots.
Okay.
Other than that, I purchased radios, which I'll be using in the polling place to increase communication between myself and staff. I have attended safety training offered by the Secretary of State, and I'm opening up training to all election staff on October 1st at the town office.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm very confident in my election staff, and I'm confident in my abilities to de-escalate anything that may happen.
Any questions for on that? Okay, I mean, our intention there is that everybody can go and vote the way they'd like to vote in a safe manner, and just don't want to see anybody get beat up verbally, not the other way, verbally. And so just want to make sure that we have that covered. And thank you for letting us know and being on top of it.
I think the worst that we may have is someone a little too passionate, which sometimes they just need to
That's
be
what they call it now,
talked
okay.
down.
All right, I gotta get the terminology down. All right, number 4, 20 Park Street. Are we interested in reopening the bidding?
There has been some interest, I don't know the person's name, but somebody came forward and said that if the town decides that they're interested in selling it, that they're interested in putting in a bid. So do you want to keep it at 27.5 minimum? And if you want to open it, is it a good time, a bad time?
If somebody's come with some interest, I think we ought to put it open to everybody and see what we get. I mean, I would say, and we have things we have to accomplish here with that, right? We're not trying to make money on that, we're trying to get
No.
back the electric
Right.
bill and the sewer bill.
This is
and-
no profit. 27.5 is no profit.
Yeah. I mean, you got what down? Remind us what the,
It was the water, the sewer, the electric, the taxes, and the lien and discharge and all that stuff.
all right, so I just want to try to get it back, so let's.
Demolition, yes.
Demolition, yeah.
Demolition was a big part of it too.
One thing that, and probably isn't, I don't know if this is the place for it or not, but one thing that was brought to my attention is our 15-foot setback. And according to the person that was mentioning it to me, mentioned that it doesn't end up being much left at that point. So I mean, I don't know if that's something the planning board can look at, or we can look at again, if it is an issue. I mean, I don't know what the proper setback is.
I know the person that brought it to my attention said that Skowhegan was a 5-foot setback. I don't know if that's true or not, I haven't looked into it. We can definitely bring it to the planning board. I'll bring it as tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep, they're meeting tomorrow night. And so with like the lots on Park Street, Heel Street and stuff, most of those are 80 feet wide, so you would lose 30 feet. And you'd still have 50 feet for a house. That's how wide my house is, 50 feet, and that's a pretty big size, Al.
Yeah. I'm
I mean,
just giving you the information that people have given me, so, and that's something that, that's person, it's gonna take 15 off the back too, right? So 15 off the back, so
Yeah.
I'm not a
Okay.
builder, so I don't know that stuff, but that was what they mentioned.
Okay.
Mr. Moody?
Would that fall under anything as far as a grandfather clause goes, where that area was set up for a 5-foot setback? And now you're changing it, now you're saying it's 15 feet. I know we changed it from 5 feet to 15 feet, but I'm just wondering if that lot would come under a grandfather clause. Because you've got an existing footprint there already.
Right, so you're saying that it used to be a 5-foot setback in Madison?
Yes.
Okay,
And it was a few years ago, we changed that to 15.
okay.
Yeah, I wonder if there's anything there that would say a grandfathering of that.
Well, it was, because we went through that, like Ron mentioned, I remember it was 5 years ago, because there was quite a few landowners that were putting fences up and putting trees, planting trees, and then I remember having a conversation with a former code enforcement officer, and the discussion was going to be 20 feet property, plus edge of right-of-way off in a road, which is a long ways, especially considering the road, if it's a wide road, so I think the determination with the planning board was to make it 15 feet from everything, but I don't recall what it was before, it might have been 5. I
It
think
was,
you're right around.
I believe it was 5 before that, because I remember when we changed it.
If you look at just about everything in town, it's not that far between
No,
some buildings,
exactly.
yeah.
That's why I'm saying, the footprint is already there. There should be, I would think there might be something that was grandfathered in there for that in-town lot, because of the footprint.
Yes, so.
Alright, so let's, I guess we'll look into that,
Okay.
because if that brings out more people to
Right, so 15.
to bid, that would be a good thing. Now, this is one of the properties, since we're selling it now, if we go over, we have to contact the previous landowner.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, that new lot is in effect. When we put that one out to bid, should we also put, is it Naomi Avenue? Naomi Avenue?
Yep.
Should we also open the bid for Naomi Avenue? Which I think is also just property,
It's
there's just land.
What are our thoughts?
I mean, that one would be a smaller bid, there's no demolition costs, it's taxes, liens, fees, and things like that.
The piece of property we kept out there because we wanted it to be easier to plow, right?
Yeah, but that's
Oh,
not-
that small
not it.
chunk.
That's not it?
That's not it, because we just foreclosed on that recently, right?
Yes.
It is close to that other property that you're referring to.
Why don't you bring us, I said, why don't you bring us the details and we can send it out another time.
All right,
I think you're right, Al, that was the building that the town had tore down because it was right next to the road, and when we demoed it, we were gonna leave it under the assumption we could push some snow in there through the course of the winter.
Right, to make it a little bit easier to move the
Right.
snow and get that cleaned up a
Right,
little bit,
because
so.
it's just a postal stamp of the law, it's not very big.
Yep.
all right.
So is this other one we're talking about, is that vacant next to it, right next to that? Do you think?
I don't know, there's a 2 of them out there?
There's a vacant lot that we just foreclosed on.
32 Naomi.
Yeah,
What
let's,
is it?
32 Naomi. When I was looking at the tax maps, they do look close together because I saw that the town did own one other vacant lot.
yeah,
But we
let's
have to
make
look
that, let's
at
get that
that.
clear, yeah, to make
Okay.
sure we have that. So
All right.
we don't sell a lot we don't want to.
Right.
Right, okay, so, but you're okay with going ahead with putting
Yep.
20 Park back out?
Let's go for it.
Do I need a motion or do?
We're all set. All
All right,
right,
thank you.
item of communication, number 1, Lynch Landscaping, Japanese knotwood control, 9/23 to 10/25. We have a list of roads.
And this is, I think you posted this in the highway garage, and it's posted in the town office, and I don't know if it's posted other places, but the intent is posted on the town sign that Lynch will be doing this.
Any questions? Okay, so we don't need to do anything on that. Living well report we have,
Yes,
anybody
and
have a question on that?
there was another one, and I left it on my desk, sorry. I'll put it in your folders.
All right, town manager report on expenses and revenues, currently at.
Okay, so we got the revenues plugged into Trio, and I think I did it right, hopefully. So we're in, revenue-wise, I think we're in good shape, we're headed in the right direction. The tax money is coming in, people are very eager to get their taxes paid. which is a nice thing, it's a good thing. There have been some questions about why it's higher this year, and for those residents that had tax stabilization last year, they're taking that double hit this year, and those are the ones that are really hurting the most. The revenues, the expenses are just about on track for 12 weeks. It's supposed to be at 23 and it's at 25, so we're managing, we're keeping everything where it needs to be in that regard. Any questions?
Questions? And we're on course for our payment to the county, correct?
That is actually in the warrant tonight. Payment to the county and the payment to the school district are both in tonight's warrant that you have to sign.
And that's the full payment to the county?
No,
No.
No, it's the 48,000 to the county.
that's for the police, that's not the county one you're referring to, right? You're referring
No.
to-
The general.
Yeah, that's November 1st, we have until November 1st without
Okay,
penalty, so we were gonna pay it in October.
Okay.
sorry, I had the wrong, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's see. New business, Town Cloud accounting software.
Let me introduce Dennis Harward. Thank you for coming. Mr. Harward is software provider, developer,
What's my title?
I don't know.
I'm co-founder.
Co-founder of Town Cloud. Town Cloud is well, I'm gonna mutilate it, so I'm gonna let you take the floor.
Okay, the only thing is, I won't make any comments about your existing systems tonight or mention any competitor's name. So, Town Cloud is a company we formed, the other co-founder is my son-in-law, Chris, who is, we live in Waterford now. We have anyway, we started this business 10 years ago, and we started building agenda software, and I think you guys have a trial, and hopefully you'll get, Denise is a pretty good negotiator. So she wanted me to throw in the deal. So anyway, but we wanted you to try it. So we started out by building this agenda. I was an elected official actually in another part of my career in Colorado, and I thought the agenda software was bad, and there was a demand for something better. So we formed a company here and built it, and it was very successful. COVID helped, I guess, because meetings were done online and everything, and we got a couple hundred customers, and then our customers started, they're in 45 states, and then our customers began asking for other things, so we built a website application, which basically allows the town to launch a new website in, well, we like to say 1 day, but it's been done in as little as 2 hours. And so we try to take our cues from what our customers want us to build. It's kind of a different approach to software. A lot of people, they tell their customers what they want instead of asking them. But we did this, and it worked out really well. Well, anyway, 2 years ago, we went to the Maine Municipal Association conference, and people were asking for an accounting system. They were not happy with the current systems that were available. There's actually just 3 systems sold in this state that do the BMV and tax and the clerk functions and fund accounting. Well, we were already building a fund accounting system, so we wanted to focus on that and really didn't want to take on another development project right then. So then we went to the next year, and a lot more customers were asking for the same thing. And so you know, I like to say I never had a good idea that didn't come from a client. So the demand seemed better, but still we were trying to get our own fund accounting system. It's actually the first new fund accounting system built for the public sector industry in 25 years. And we built it for small towns. So we launched it in June at the National Conference Government Finance Officers Association. And it was a major milestone I mean, for us, a small company, 12 people, to go out against all the big names and build a brand new fund accounting system. And again, our stuff is targeted for small towns, so under 10,000 population. So we're all small towns, that's hence the name. Hopefully that will keep us focused on where we started. And like I said, we're family owned. We don't want to be a part of private equity firms. When I was at that conference, 9 different large private equity firms were interested in buying us. We have no interest in that because we believe that what makes us different is our personal attention. And you just can't do what you want to do if you have to please, an outside board of directors. So this is just our own team. It's going to stay that way. So anyway, I came back from the conference in June, and I was still hearing these customers asking for BMV and tax systems. So I went and met with a couple of towns to have them show me what they were using and to see if we had a plan for improving it. And after that, although I wasn't really, when I came back having done just a massive development effort, I wasn't that excited about another one. But when I saw the existing system, I realized that it actually fits into some pieces that we already had. So we had, in addition to the accounting system, we had a billing and collection system, which is a lot, very similar to what the tax billing system needs to do. And then I noticed we have a centralized cash receipt system, which is very similar to what the processing is for the people at the counter. Again, it needs to be streamlined for those functions. But, so it was one of those things where I went to the customers and said, well, if you will sign up, then we will build it. So they said, and of course they came back and said, well, what kind of deal can we get? So I decided to make a show of good faith and say, for anybody that signs up now, I'm going to offer, the average customer in Maine, by the way, there's 500 towns, the average customer is paying about $20,000 a year, some or more. So I said I'll do it for $15,000 a year, and as a show of good faith, I'll lock in that price for 10 years. So the price has been going up, again, for people who want to join the development effort. And, I'm happy to say, Paris was the first to sign up. They had recently bought Agenda and website, and they really wanted to be first. And I was very happy about that because I live 9 miles away, and now I have a desk at the town hall, and I go there 1 day a week, and I get requirements, and I can drop in anytime I want, and I can listen to the commotion that happens on the other side of the counter, and try to use that knowledge to make better software for them, and it's already happening. And then a couple weeks later, we were fortunate to sign up Durham in a fairly contentious town meeting, like the one I didn't go to, but my son-in-law went. He got a 4-1 vote. I always like to get unanimous. So anyway, Durham signed up, and they had gone through some changes and really needed to modernize their system. And then a few weeks later, I did a meeting in Farmington, and working with Erica there, and they signed up, and so I was there last Thursday doing a kickoff. And so the goal is to, and it's working out really well. We have a website where I am collecting these requirements. I put out a status report every Monday, so I put one out today. All the customers can see what the progress is. Any information that we gather, I put it on that site. And I also went to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles because they have to certify the software, and so some people had said that might be a problem. So I went there a couple of months ago, and they're going to allow us to certify it in phases. So we don't have to wait till everything's in place. We can take pieces. and go. And there's things that we're doing that are different, like, for example, you're paying about $3,000 a year for Kelly Blue Book. We're looking for vehicle identification number searches. We're looking at some alternatives, and because we're on a multi-tenant architecture, which means basically one copy of the software that everybody uses, we may be able to save quite a bit of money. It doesn't affect you, because I already was locked in the price for 10 years, but it could really make a big difference and maybe provide some better functionality. So anyway, you know, we presented it and did demonstrations of the existing pieces, and you know, we'd like to have you in the partnership, and it just takes, you know, it's quite a savings really over the 10 years, since the other vendors tend to increase their prices maybe 7 to 10% a year, and so you can see it could add up pretty quickly. And you know, we have we ask for a first year as a deposit. It's refundable in case for any reason you decide you want out of the program. But it's great to have the feedback from different customers and also in different parts of the state. I mean, there's another one next week, so and then we'll be at MMA with some actual things to show from the development effort. So it's, you know, it's one of those things. I mean, right, I'm at a stage in my career where I'm doing this because I think it's necessary. And it could be a good decision economically, but that's not necessarily true. But I think it needs to be done. We've done, all our references have been perfect. So with hundreds of customers, we never let anyone down. And you know, we don't intend to on this. It's not, compared to the financial system that we just built, it's not exceedingly complicated. It's more a matter of getting design that works really well for the people that have to work the counter, and you know, so it's more a matter of usability than technical complexity. It's hosted on Amazon Web Services, so it's always backed up. If Amazon Web Services goes down, the whole world has a problem. So in our 10 years, the system has never been down, not even for a second. We don't have scheduled maintenance, so in other words, we're never going to send you an email and say the system will be down, because we don't ever take it down. We have what's called, we have a way, it's called DevOps, and it's a way of taking things and making updates. We don't have to update customers individually. When we add a new feature, it's immediately available to everybody. So the architecture has been around, which is what other people have used, but in comparison to other things that are available in this market and for this size customers, it's you know, it's really top shelf technology. So a lot of times small towns inherit technology that has been used by larger communities, and they just kind of jam it down on you guys. But this is all brand new stuff rolled out just for this market. So like I said, it's
So we have a $15,000 a year
$15,000 a year,
for 10 years.
yes.
So we are currently, for our, not to mention the other trio, we are currently paying
26,000.
Well, 26 is the second half of the bill, right? Wasn't, or is that the first? That's the whole thing?
That's the whole bill.
Okay,
Okay.
yes, and they have expressed that they are at the end of life for the sequel version, meaning they're gonna push us to the web version, whether we want to or not.
Basically what he's saying.
This is a web version also.
Right.
And based on my prior 16 years of experience in the technology world, this is the way to go. This is the architecture that is being promoted across many platforms now. I don't know what's happening with the Trio Web, but I know that there are a lot of municipalities that have gone there that are experiencing problem after problem, and the support team is all out of country,
And
so,
we also had a lot of trouble with our tax bills
this year.
this year, getting them out in a timely fashion, so we need to make a change.
Yes.
What kind of, how's the conversion happen? I mean,
We're
when
handling it,
is-
so it's what we call a concierge conversion. If you look at I'm just starting to get data now. Paris was the first one that signed up, right? So they're a couple weeks ahead of everyone. I'm going to hopefully cover the materials here tomorrow that I've been going over with them. But they were able to export their data into spreadsheets, and we have what's called imports, and we were able to easily import it. So things like financial data, it needs to be balanced every year, but other than doing balancing, then you shouldn't have to do anything. You know, you'll have to check the balances, but it's an export and import. Any transformation of the data that happens, we can do it in the import. So if you decide to change your chart of accounts, you can still look up the data by the old charts, and yet you can take advantage of the capabilities of the new system and still have access to it. So it's, it's, like I said, I mentioned this thing, multi-tenancy. So what that means is there's one copy of the actual program itself that everyone runs, but everybody's data has a separate instance. So there's a separate, your data is kept separately from all the other customers, but the program is one program that everyone is using. So it's really efficient and it's really safe, and it makes updates. So we don't have to worry about 500 different copies of software, one copy that everyone's running.
So I'm sorry.
So what happens right now, you don't have all of BMV up and running, correct?
That's right.
So what happens to, are they going to run
We
two
don't,
different
we'll come up
systems?
with we'll work on a schedule, a plan and a schedule for you to implement, and we'll be moving that over for whatever that schedule ends up being, because I mean, like, even the existing customers, they want to go live at different times. And it makes sense that they all don't go live the same day. So we'll make sure we have it ready. And like I said, when I'm finished with the development, we have to get these pieces certified by BMV. So they have to test it, which they're excited to do. I mean, they were very happy to have a new alternative come to the market and want to build a new system for BMV.
But-
There would be some
Okay, but-
parallel processing.
So we would still have to pay Trio for some of that.
Well, we
right
have to
now?
pay Trio through July 31st anyway, because Trio's contract is an annual contract. We tried to pay it in a quarterly fashion, and they blew up this, they're not happy. So part of, the remainder of that Trio payment is in the warrant tonight, to be mailed out tomorrow, to cover for the rest of the year. So we are paying Trio anyway.
So we would come in with them July 1st?
No, hopefully we would come in with them sooner, and that would cover that parallel processing period where we're running Trio as the existing system, Town Cloud as the new system, checking our balances back and forth to make sure things are doing what they're supposed to do. And then hopefully, I think you said hopefully it would be around the 1st of January or first, maybe February or something.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, had we started right when I wanted to, I think we would have been good for January, but we're not going to let any customer go live unless everything's right. So I should just say that and say, well, it's more important to get this right, because we're going to, look, we built this system for 50 years. Okay, this is a system that you should have for 50 years. I mean, my grandkids should be getting the royalties from this, but we built it to last. a lot, the system you have probably is 30 years old. There's actually some people down in Norway who originally built it. I'm trying to track them down, I just want to talk to them. So it's built to last 50 years. And, you know, we hope it will. So, if things are right, then, you know, we'll cut things over. And if they're not, and of course, like I said, I need that B&B certification. But I can say they are making it easy because they're not making me do it all in one time. I can take pieces of it to them, get them to certify those. I think there's like 22 different transaction types. So we're hoping to get them certified. Right now, we're working on the 4 major, the most common transactions, and then we're kind of throwing in the most frustrating transactions. Like today, I found a service that can do vending work on vehicles older than 1970. So I looked up, which, you know, you can't do now. So anyway, it's any opportunity to improve, we will take it.
So, what? So we have to pay them, we have to pay Tree up to the end of these, June,
Yes.
okay? So do we have enough money to do these parallel?
Yes.
Okay.
So this was included in the TIF budget that we just approved 2 weeks ago.
All right. All right, any other questions?
I was just curious, have you done any testing?
We have not, these are screenshots that they provided. We had like a 2-hour demo, and I was willing to do that for you guys tonight, but Chairman Venziano said no way. So we just got some screenshots instead. But it's,
Oh, he's telling me scaling through.
Yeah, no kidding.
wow, okay,
They thought they were.
so,
So, will you have all your modules that you have now? Is that the goal, every module that they
Everything
have
that they
right
yes.
now?
There'll be even some things that you don't have now, boards and commissions, you have that? Or did you drop that?
You do, we just never used it, but
Okay.
yes, it exists.
yeah,
So what I did is, I mean, we made a list of what modules everybody has. So, I know Farmington and Durham do not use the assessment module. However, Paris does, so we have to do it.
yeah. We use that, but we don't use the payroll module. We don't use the code enforcement module.
You should mention too, the payroll eventually will be part of this program.
Payroll's part of the project.
So we don't need to then spend extra to pay an outside service anymore, which will also save us money.
So I have a question. So I'm the town clerk. I'm a relatively new clerk. I'm nearing my 1-year mark. And over the course of the year, I realized there's still a lot that I don't know about our existing program. And we do have a lot of new staff in the office as well. So we're trying to figure out all the things that happen yearly and navigate them through our current system. And we don't even know all the features. So I understand that you're trying to convert it so that we have all the same access, but when it comes to support and how to do the functions, how available will you be for support?
We're so lucky, I mean, we're so fortunate to have, to have Liz from Paris involved, because she's already like the mom for all the users of that system you have. And when people, even in the times I've been there, other customers have called her. However, we will have a dedicated resource like a clerk level person, somebody who, I'm already trying to recruit this person. I have to recruit them so it's not a customer, somebody I don't tend to get as a customer. So I have made an offer to somebody who will be dedicated to answer those kinds of questions. Now, with that said, the history at Town Cloud with our applications has been to build the if you engineer the software well, it doesn't require a lot of hand-holding if it's built well. And that was our experience with Agenda. But because this is a more intense function, we'll have a dedicated person, like a clerk person. They will be on sometime during the development process, maybe, maybe soon. And then I have someone on the finance side, an accountant, a former finance director, starting October 15th. And so her job will be to make sure all the accounting to work with the accounting transitions. But I know this is important enough here that we'll have a dedicated person just for that kind of stuff. But from our standpoint, if you put the procedures online, the software should be easy to navigate.
And while you say it's easy to navigate, which I have seen and I've done the presentation with
Radley.
and I was impressed by, how you could navigate through, and it did make more sense in some ways. But will we have in-person training leading up to when it goes live? So that way the basic features are explained and the staff can walk in, ready for when it goes live?
Right. So I would say yes on the in-person training, but I mean, our goal, so if it's necessary, we'll provide the level of support that's necessary. So, because some people prefer, online, jumping on. This is how we've been training customers across the country for 10 years with very good results. So if someone has to go on site, honestly, something's wrong with our process. So will we do it? Yes, and we have done it. I mean, we went on site, we've gone on site in Maine to do website projects, but it shouldn't be necessary. Right, it just shouldn't, that's a sort of a, I mean, I'm old and that's the way we used to do things, but it shouldn't be necessary now. So, it would be easy to just say, oh, let's just go hire 20 people, but the problem is, you end up getting their interpretation of how things should be done, and a lot of these systems, part of the reason the customers get frustrated is because the way they were trained was not right. So we'd rather have people trained in the right way of doing things. And some things are options, like there's, for example, like the financial system is built for all 50 states. But in Maine, we have warrants that are done in a very unique way, we'll just say. So there's a switch in there. Do you have to use warrants? If you want to use warrants, fine, you see the warrants. If you're in another state that doesn't do it that way, you don't see it. So we have a customer running the financial system in Oregon.
So it's almost like client parameters?
Yes.
All right, so what do you need from us tonight? We need to accept it, or are we going to bring it up again?
No, I think you've already accepted it by virtue of the TIP budget.
Okay.
And this was just to be informational and to see if you had any questions or concerns.
Anybody, any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
We'll move on.
And we'll see you in the morning
Yes,
at the
8:30.
office.
8:30.
8:30, 9 o'clock, what works better for you?
I saw you said 8:30.
I know, but 9 o'clock would be better for me.
That'd be much better for me.
Why don't we do 9 o'clock?
Much better. I brought my wife with me tonight, so.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 2, town clerk temporary relocating to Old Point Avenue.
Miss Cheyenne.
So after seeing the amount of requests for absentee ballots that have already passed through my office, and I have decided to make the decision to move over to Old Point. This isn't something new, it's been done in the past, it's been proven quite effective in the past.
Starting when?
Starting October 7th. I will be preparing the Friday before to move everything over in preparation. But I would like to start the absenteeing on October 7th, when I'm estimated to have the ballots from the state. I will have to get all of the ballots prepared the week before, but they should be going out in the mail the 7th, pending that I have them.
So if somebody is doing that by mail, they need to have it back or you count the ballots?
Yes.
That what the,
And I have put together instructions on how to return the ballot that I will be putting in the outside envelope, not in the ballot, but to help the older residents and residents who may have never absentee voted before.
you can also absentee at Old Point.
Yes, and that will be the main purpose of moving it there, because I anticipate a large number of people coming in to absentee vote, which may not be a good option at the town office, just due to spacing, distracting the girls on the counter. Already, like today, I had 5 or 6 people come in and try to absentee vote, and I had to tell them that they cannot because I don't have ballots. We've also had a third party that's been mailing absentee ballot requests to people's homes, which has increased the number of requests that I've received.
And the confusion.
Yes, some people will think that they're actual ballots, and it's just the request for one. But in the mail the other day, I got 25 requests in one day. So if that gives you an idea, seeing as though the absentee process hasn't even started. I will be having my 2 registrars for the day, which is Barbara Moody and Lynn Mooney, helping out during the lunch hours so that I can do the bank deposit. And if I need to do like a marriage license or something else, I can fulfill all my other duties as clerk and treasurer. I have also put it out there to my election staff that I'm more than happy to welcome anybody to come in to volunteer for filing and things like that, so that way I'm not overspending on my budget, but also utilizing any help that I have. And I've had a lot of people who are interested in doing that. I'll be accessible just as I am at the office. People can stop by and see me at Old Point. I'll have my phone transitioned to my cell, and I will have my email and a printer there, so I will be able to do the same tasks, just more efficiently with more space.
Any questions for her? And we're reasonably assured that the post office will get us these ballots in a reasonable manner. I mean, I know that's a hot topic, so.
I have faith that they will come
Have you had
in
any
time.
conversation with them?
It wouldn't really be the post office, it would be who is printing the ballots and
No,
how
no, I
they're.
mean, after somebody sends it back, it's usually.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
The postmaster that's there right now, he was there when I had that last presidential that I did. And him and I had a conversation, and he was quite aware and quite helpful once he understood.
I think that might not be a bad idea.
Yep, I know him,
He
so I
was
can go have
very,
a conversation.
him and I had a conversation, only because I was having issues, and that's not all I'm gonna say, and it had nothing to do with him. But if you just go over and have a brief conversation with him, he was very accommodating, and that's all I'm gonna say,
Okay,
and it worked out well.
so I'll have a conversation with him this week.
All right, thank you.
Good to know.
All right, number 3, TIF funding request for municipal ice rink supplies, liner and boards.
So, Joe Hayden came to me and asked if there was any TIF funds available. We had already done the TIF budget, but there was like a $3,000 balance in the budget in the TIF anticipation. From $495,000, we only allocated $492,000. So I'd like to ask for a motion to add a line for $3,000 for the ice rink to help Joe get a liner and or boards so he can put up, and those would be reused, not just one time. So that would increase the TIF budget from 492 to 495 for Backyard Farms for a total, the total would be 508. Yes.
All right, are we looking forward to doing that, or?
Well, so does that meet the requirements for the TIF? I mean, I don't know what the requirements for using the TIF.
Well, we did some with recreation grounds down at
Preble
Ave on 5402-2009.
Yep.
And I guess guess I'll have you look into that first before we do that,
Okay.
to see if that's an appropriate use.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
So looking at the tip rules.
Yeah.
Okay.
Citizens' concerns.
Time out?
Oh, timeout, sorry. No citizens' concerns.
Not yet, not yet. I have one more item that I had to put in there, and that is, I don't know what I did with it, but, the tower building roof, where the fire equipment is, all the radios and everything, up on 148 Tower Road.
Yeah.
Danny Bosworth gave me a quote to get that fixed for $2,000, and I'm trying to find where we can take that money from. We have no expense line for the tower building repairs. We have an expense line, we don't have any money in it. Is that something that we can draw from the ARPA funds that we had for building improvements? We had $53,600 for building improvements that was left. And that's where the engineering study is coming out of. So right now, we're, I think, about 47 or 48,000 in that balance. So we could take 2,000 from there. But before I do that, I just wanted to find out if that's an acceptable use. If we don't repair the roof, we're standing the chance that we're gonna lose a lot more money in equipment.
All right, we need a motion to take it from the opera funds that are available.
I'll make a motion that we take $2,000 from the available ARPA funds for the repair of the tower roof.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to take $2,000 to pay for the tower roof. Any questions?
Yes. When would that be done?
It would be this fall. It would be, as soon as I let Danny Bosworth know, he would let Roof Solutions know. And they would put it on the calendar, it would get done before the snow flies.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
We can
Can I have one?
Oh, I'm sorry, yep.
Yep, just a quick question. Rentals, we have the rent that we get in.
Mhm.
What is that allocated to?
It's allocated to the revenue, and that revenue stream is included in the budget projections. So it's not, it ends up going to the general fund at the
I was
end of
gonna
the
say,
year.
so it goes in the general fund
Yeah.
versus upkeep. Okay.
Okay.
All right, seeing no other questions, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Now, citizens' concerns.
Mr. Ciros.
Oh, there's a question first.
I just have an update on 148 for you guys, if you're interested. Speaking to the supervisor this afternoon, all the cross trenches should be paved either tonight or first thing in the morning. They'll be working on going back and fixing lawns that they have dug up toward the end of the week. And all the curb that was destroyed will be replaced next week. And a final sweeping should be done next week, and they should be out of there.
The cross
All the cross
bridges,
trenches,
they,
yeah.
they all meet your,
Well, it's not me, but they.
I'm just saying, they meet your
Standard.
standard,
Yeah.
because you're gonna drive the plow truck up through there, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Just, did you get a chance, did you get a chance to check on Weston Avenue by Larry Andrews' place?
Yes, I met with Mrs. Andrews this morning, she's all set, we're gonna take care of her issues, and it's not a big deal. Be done
That
tomorrow
way,
or
just-
Thursday, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. I had a couple businesses. I was gonna bring it up, Selectmen's concerns about their lawns getting redone, so.
Out on 148, Yeah.
Well, in town.
yeah, they'll be done this week.
Thank you.
So what are they gonna do to the lawns? They're gonna just seed them?
Yes, put added loam and then seed and mulch, whatever needs to be done to bring it back to the original grade.
Okay, thank you.
So they've got all the connections to all the houses and the businesses and stuff, they've done all those?
Yes, correct.
They have, okay.
And we could project that next summer, that will all be paved.
I hope so.
We don't have any idea of,
No, haven't heard a word. The only one connection I think they have done, but he didn't say, was Hannaford, because they had to have their own water supply when they shut the water off. I don't know if that got done or not.
are you staying for the end of the meeting?
Can if you want me to.
No, well, I could ask you one other question for you. We're a little out of control here, but, the road from Madison to Norwalk, I know that's a state road.
Yep.
But it is a mess. I mean, I bounce halfway down the road and I've slowed down and tried to go speed limit and, the road set, the line sets this way. That's a question, that's a comment I've heard, that they're gonna repave it. I mean, I don't see any indication that they're doing that. I mean,
Lines are all in there.
there's not a,
I don't know what things.
That's a state road, isn't it?
yes.
I heard they were gonna redo it, because I know Anson's still got some catch basins over there that are still raised
Yeah,
up.
but they, I mean, it looks like they've put grass in,
Yeah.
they've put the line
Well,
sets over.
when they do a project like that, the ditching and any other side work gets done first before they put the final surface coat on.
Right.
So in meeting with the resident engineer last week for an update on the project, when that was paved, they had problems with the paver. So any of those rough spots are getting milled out. They started today.
Okay,
And all down through Norwalk, it's all marked up if you go look at it with orange paint. They will be milled out, brought down to an original grade, and then that whole road will be resurfaced again.
this year?
They're gonna shoot for this year.
Oh, because the road, the line goes over, in front of RTD about a foot.
The center line?
Center line.
Yeah, well, that's just a temporary striking, so,
Okay, well,
yeah.
those of us don't do well with temporary striping.
Slow down.
Yeah. Slow down, I guess, it's not just,
Not straight on
not
line.
just Western, you really have to concentrate on the line. All right, any other question for,
Somebody do you have a question?
no?
In reference to 148, one of the construction workers I happen to be talking to, he did indicate that they are looking to pave next year and stuff. The only other thing, and I again, like John was going to bring it up, Selectmens concerned, since the door is open. Somewhere we have signs around here that says this town is business friendly. If you talk to any of those construction workers out there, they will tell you this is the worst town they have ever done work in, and hope they never have to come back because of some of the ignorant citizens that we have here that complain about 148, but don't want to have patience enough so that the process can be done and the groundwork can be done so that they can pave. It's a pretty sad day for Madison to have a reputation of that nature.
It's embarrassing.
It really is, yes.
And there was an email today from Mantor Construction going to Dale Lancaster and Michael Knight, Lieutenant Knight, that there was, with a picture and a guy in a pickup truck and a license plate number who was going the wrong way down the road, where they had closed off one lane and they were detouring the traffic. Somebody was not going to be bothered with the detour, and they went down the wrong way anyway. And so they got a picture of him driving his truck going the wrong way. So, yeah, and I've made a plea, a Facebook post to Madison citizens, use some common sense, some patience, use alternative routes, leave a few minutes early. If you know there's construction there, why leave late and then be ticked off at the construction workers and swear at them and threaten to run them over? And yeah, it's very embarrassing.
It is, it is. That's all I got.
All right, thank you.
Waited 4 years.
All right, Mr. Pete,
Oh,
do you have a citizen's
Okay.
concern?
this is in. Do you mind if I sit?
You can
Okay,
sit.
because I might have to take notes and get
All
some
right.
high data.
All right,
And it's a lot easier for me to sit and do it.
all right, let's go.
The reason I'm here is I'm looking for guidance from the select board. As you know, I've been trying to gum up some support for a public transportation in the town of Madison that will include Anson, Norwood, Madison, Selectmen. And I've been working quite a bit, building routes and looking at the different types of vehicles that we can use. And, the plan I have now is nothing like what I started out with. But that, as a result of, I went out and got over 200 signatures from citizens that might want to have a public transportation. And in doing that, I learned a lot. I started out wanting to do the buses because they were idle. That didn't work because it was like a balloon, you know, in the middle of the pond. It just, with a lead balloon, don't float good. And and then I thought, well, we'll just use regular buses. And then I found out from someone else that if you have the smaller 15 passenger jobs, you don't need to get anyone with a special license to drive it. And I did look into some Fords. They make a 15 passenger, it's a big Superman, and they go for $20,000 to $30,000 used, and new ones are like $50,000 to $60,000. And I think that's not a bad price for a vehicle that you're going to use. So it's things like that. But I want to start a board because I can go no further by myself because who wants to listen to PC or but if there was a board that was sanctioned by the town of Madison, then it would have more credibility when dealing with these other entities, because we are going to seek a grant. It's not going to be cheap, even if it gets toned down. So what I'm looking for is, what do I need to do to form a board of 5 to 7 people, call an association, a board or whatever. And in the beginning, obviously, we have no money, so we need volunteers. And I guess there have been volunteer boards here before. I think I worked on one at one time for, I think I helped start the Channel 11. Well, it was 16 then, and it was all volunteer. And I see that you also have a recreation board now. And that one, did that get it set up among the select board?
That's been for quite a while, yeah.
They've had that board for quite a
We've
while.
had that quite a while, yes.
Okay.
They're all volunteer.
They're all volunteers, so this is what I'd like to do. And I want to know, are there any requirements that I would have to do to form a board by the selectmen? There are state rules too, but I can find them online. But is there anything in particular I would need, or as a group we would need to be recognized as the Board of Selectmen? Town of Madison?
I would say it's probably would have to go to town meeting.
Okay,
Do
we have to go to town meeting.
recognized?
Would it be a committee or?
It would be a committee.
Probably be a committee, I would say.
That would be a committee, but,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I would start by you putting out to people, if you would like to join me
yeah.
somehow. I mean, I don't know if you.
Okay, that's
I
a
don't know if you
recruiting,
could
that
get-
was gonna
I don't know
be
if
one
you
of
could
my-
get John to do a little article with you or a little TV presentation.
I think, yeah, I'm sure that John would be willing
And
to
once
work
you
on
got
that.
that together, I think,
And then there's this Madison, Madison Matters.
yep,
That's a very good,
yep,
because there's a lot of people go on that.
yep.
I've gone on it, at least, as a matter of fact, I made some contacts through that. So is there any way that the select board could assist me in any way with promoting the idea of recruiting
I don't know.
volunteers?
I mean, we have the same platforms as you do, right?
Okay, so
Madison
you
Matters,
do all
we don't have.
what public announcements, when to have the meetings and so forth. Now, is there anything that the board would have to do to be legitimate as far as the town of Madison is concerned?
I don't know, we have to check it out.
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna be part of the town of Madison, then you're gonna have to probably go to town meeting to establish the board. I mean, at
Yeah.
some point, I don't know that for a fact, but
Yeah,
maybe the town manager could figure that out. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
have to go through town meeting, and there would have to be something defined. Would it be elected? Would it be appointed? Would it be appointed by who? How long would the terms be for? How many members that has,
I don't know if you
all
wanna
those
get-
things.
Yeah, we need a charter too, I read that, that's also a requirement. of the
That's
state
something
requirement.
that you can,
We'd have to make that our own charter, we'd
Right.
just make those decisions. Also, the things that our board would work on would be what personnel are needed. You need more than bus drivers, you need a mechanic or mechanics, you need a dispatcher type of person, that someone
right,
can
well,
call.
it's saying some of a budget.
And of course, when I worked in transportation, it was 35 cents and dropped it in a box. Well, we don't use change anymore, we use paper money. And you can't put that into a slot like you can in 35 cents. And so what they're doing now in public transportation is they're using transportation cards.
Yeah.
It's like a debit card.
Yeah.
You buy your trips ahead of time, 2, 4, 8, you know,
Yeah.
and they're different prices. And that, we have to find a vendor for that, and I don't even know how they redeem them. I imagine somehow you have to have a bank account,
Yeah.
and somehow, I guess, I don't know, we'll have to work those details out.
Yeah.
But other than that, you have no particular requirements of, there have to be at least 3 people according to state. They prefer 5
I
or
don't
7.
have the answer for you, Pete. I think we gotta get the town manager to figure out something to
Yeah,
come up with, how to get you started, but I would say, on your own, you could send out to people.
I can send off
Madison.
to assemble a board, and then we can,
Well, assemble a group
a
first.
group, yeah, and maybe it would be
Where
a
does the
committee
group
at
wanna
first.
go?
Yeah, they call it an association, a different name, but it's all a group of people with a single
Right,
goal.
right. That's
And,
gonna be better for you in the long run than
Yeah.
going at it by yourself.
Yeah, I can't go any further on my own, I just can't do it. There must be, when you go to get a grant, they're gonna say, well, who you're working
Right.
with, and I say, Pete Zero, I think, well, what the hell are you? And I'll say, I'm nobody, I'm just to be perfectly honest, but anyway, this is what I'd like to do, and there's nothing no particular requirement by the select board that I would have to have in, other than the state guidelines for.
I would say,
And there was even some talk, maybe somebody here could tell me, they talk about a corporation of an association. Now, the reason for this is, once the thing gets going, and money starts flowing, you get lawsuits. And by incorporating your association, you protect the individuals from lawsuits.
right,
Is that, am I correct in thinking that way?
I would
It might
say.
be better off doing a non-profit,
To what?
a non-profit.
And they get nonprofit status, but first you need a board to get a nonprofit.
Right. Only
So
because-
that's my next step.
Only because of taxes and everything else.
I think
But
we also-
if you are a committee under the town, anyways, it has to be a nonprofit.
Yeah.
It has to be,
We're
yeah.
not,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
not.
I
we're not
understand that,
nonprofit.
exactly. No,
So you would have to be a
I
nonprofit.
think that before you get,
But
Once we have-
that's
once we
way,
have
that's
a-
ways away.
Yeah,
once we have a
yeah.
board or
I
a
would-
committee established,
Yeah.
that's the next step, is to become
I
a
would say,
nonprofit.
you want a group of people.
They call it a 501c3.
Yeah.
I think you want a group of people first to see if you wanna, see if they have interest in this.
Yeah, oh, well,
Don't go
yeah,
too far.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
also true, yeah.
I would get more people than 3. The more you have, the easier it is.
The more people you have, the
Because
better.
you have more, they can do more work.
Yeah, oh, well, it's like, then when I advertise for it, I'm gonna say, this is a working board.
Yeah.
We have work to do.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be just sit there and make decisions, it's a matter of to go out there and meet people. Okay.
Thank
So
you,
is
Pete.
that it?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, thank you very much.
All right.
Sorry it took so much of your
No,
time,
that's all
but,
right.
No worries, Pete.
All right, select board
but
concerns.
I wanna do it right, because
Yeah.
I don't wanna have to go over it again, you
I
know?
think the first order of business is getting yourself a bunch of
A
people
group
together.
of people that.
We'll call it a committee, a group of people to see if they have interest.
Dedicated people,
Right.
they're gonna have to be dedicated,
I
it's
think
not,
you just- I
it's
think
not
you just-
gonna be, oh, well, I think I'll do this on the weekend.
I think you need people, that's.
Yeah. yeah,
All right,
definitely.
Mr.
Very good.
Moody, questions? Anything?
Any questions for me?
Nope.
If I can, I'm gonna answer, I gotta tell you, I had routes all set up, and you know what? They're not gonna be the same. But it was interesting to do it, because I need something for the board to start with.
group.
You know, I got a bunch of signatures and letters and all this stuff, but if I get that started, then maybe we can work on that.
Right, you might have somebody that might be interested in it.
And I'm sure that half a dozen, 7 or 8, 10 people will come up with better ideas than I have, I'm sure. I'm planning on it.
All right,
Very good, is that it then?
that's it, great, thank you
Well,
very
okay, thank you
much.
very much for your time.
All right, thank you. Mr. Mooney?
Yeah. I understand that the sanitary district is now going to take in all of this PFAS sludge that's coming in from out of state and gonna be processed in this town, whereas the other states don't want it, but Maine seems to be curious enough or hungry enough for the money to bring this stuff into this town. I'm just surprised that something of this magnitude can be brought into the town and the town has no vote of concern to say yay or nay, whether they want it brought into the town. That I guess that department can do as they wish. And it's, you know, this is the stuff that makes news and has made news. And probably some of this stuff has to be piped, and it's right next to one of the main rivers, one of the 3 main rivers in the state. I'm just throwing this out here because I just found out about this lately, and it seems to be quite a hidden subject, for nobody knows too much about this. But to me, it should be a concern where all of this chemical stuff is coming here where no other state wants it, but money talks, I understand.
Well, Mrs. Dwyer and I attended a meeting at the sanitary district with Anson this summer, correct? Yeah, and, I mean, they were pretty, I mean, I asked, or I think I had Mrs. Dwyer ask, I had to leave, but I asked if they were gonna do a public hearing, and they said no.
Yeah. I wonder
So,
why.
I mean, I think in Anson they have to, and if any, because they're building a pretty big building, from my understanding. So, I mean, we asked the same questions, and Anson asked the same questions, and they didn't seem to bat an eyelash. So I can,
Yeah, they gave us a presentation on the getting rid of the PFAS, treating it and getting it so that it won't end up in the river. I am not aware, and I heard from a third party that they don't have the money to do it at this point. So I don't know whether the building, you know, they've got a lot of money that they need to raise to do that.
well, I believe they raised 12 million from federal grants and things like that, from what I understand.
But I was, as I said, I was talking to someone who was looking at who has bid, a company that has bid on that project, and it's at least 2 years out, because they need more money. So, I don't know, I'm not gonna
I guess-
say who said it, but.
Since Mr. Mooney brought it up, I mean, I thought the same, I thought the same thing you did. I mean, I don't know why we really want that, and I asked if it was possible once they treat it, if they have, along the line, if they get alarm bells going off, that you can stop the water from going back in the river. And apparently there's not a way. Once it starts the process, there's not a way to, it gets to the end of the process, it isn't like a pipe going in, it's like, it just goes into the river.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe we can ask.
Maria asked Dale Clark to come
That'd be a
and.
really good
Okay.
idea.
Yeah. And we-
Because
well,
it's, the science that they were talking about was so far over my head.
Yeah.
It's just really, it's
Yep.
very, very complicated,
Well,
the process that they're looking at.
And
So-
even-
And I understand,
Might not be a bad idea.
it's interesting that, these other states don't want anything to do with it, just get it out of our state, so here it comes.
I mean, we got the thing from the company in New Hampshire, correct? Right, they sent us there was a person that sent that email.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it
yeah.
showed, it showed the route across from basically Santa's Village area, across Rumford, Bethel, all the way down through to get here. Now, the other thing that they talked about was potentially at some point having a pumping station off Kennebec Street and pumping it down towards the sanitary plant from there, because so many trucks coming in will get them off Pine Street. But, I mean, I don't wanna talk, because I don't really, I mean, I'm just repeating what I heard there, so I mean, the Board of Sanitary Districts seem to be in favor of it.
There is a congressional directed spending grant for $1 million that is coming to the town of Madison that will be used with Timber HP to lease property so that they can create the space for the biodigester, which is, the biodigester is the piece of equipment that is supposed to take and reduce the PFAS and clean it so that the effluent, the stuff that's going back into the river does not contain PFAS. But that's kind of, I don't know where that is right now.
It's really early on in the
Yes.
process.
Yeah.
I guess
And so Anson Madison Sanitary District got a $2 million grant, and the town of Madison got a $1 million grant, so we gotta figure out how we're gonna put all that together. But the biodigester is like a $12 million project.
It's amazing though that nobody wants to have a session, whereas, you know, to make the town aware of this, of what's coming into their town, you know, and you know, the people have no idea. I mean, there's very few people that you would mention this to that got any idea that this is even being talked about. And the townspeople have no idea, you know, and it's too bad that, you know, I'm sure there would be some very strong opinions here.
I guess maybe we,
I'll try to get Dale Clark to come to the next meeting.
and update us on where they're at.
Mm.
Louis, anything else?
No, I'm good, sir.
I'm
That's fine. So Zesties?
I'm all set.
Lee? Good. I'm good. And we're looking for a motion on an executive session discussing.
The need for the executive session has cleared.
Okay, all right, looking for a motion to adjourn, that's even better.
Still be hanging around, you all said.
Thank you.
We got that answer.
All right, a motion and a second to adjourn, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Thank you, James, for opening her up. Adjourned at
51?
7:51.
So.